Hello. Today we have another amazing guest. I gotta tell you guys, I am just so grateful for the people that God or the universe sends to me because it's always so fun, these different conversations that I get to have. So I would like to introduce everyone to Hilary. Hi, Hilary.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Very good, very good. So grateful to be able to connect with you and to have this conversation honestly just for you and me, but I'm really glad that we can record it and give it to other people as well.
And share it. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
So, I would like to start personally with your personal story and what put you on this trajectory in life and your purpose in life. So, go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, so little backstory. I trained for many, many years, went to college, university to become a designer, got out of designer school, got right into designing, and my soul was just like, no. You're not doing that, even though it took you 11 years to get here,
Isn't that funny? Yeah, I got
right?
my master's degree in clinical counseling
Yeah,
and don't use it. I mean, I
right?
I I use the tools that I got from that, but I
Yeah.
professionally don't use my master's degree. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, exactly, right? Go with the universe. So my life pretty much shut down in a matter of weeks. Really bad, rare sleeping disorder, anxiety, depression, the whole lot. I
How
literally
scary.
it was terrifying. It was terrifying. I did think my life was over, like over. Um, and I could, the most I could muster was sitting on the couch, uh, watching Ellen Tube for hours on end, because that was the only thing that brought me any element of happiness, right? Um, so I got through that. And I got through it with the help of hypnosis.
Wow.
And I was terrified, of course. At first, I thought, oh my gosh, hypnosis, like, I don't want to go under, I don't want to go to sleep, I don't want to be out of control, right? But of course, that's not what hypnosis is, and I came to learn that.
So how did
Very,
you hear about hypnosis? Was it like a family member or friend
yeah.
or
So, I have a friend that was a hypnotist, is a hypnotist, and she kind of helped me pull myself up out of that.
Mm.
um, through hypnosis. So, of course, I was scared at first, like I said, but um, I came up out of it. It took, a few sessions, but I started to climb up out of it and release those anxieties and sleep better and release myself of the symptoms of depression. Um, and so anyway, I was my soul was just like, okay, you're not going back to that life. So, we're moving you in a different direction. So I thought, okay, well, if hypnosis worked in that sense for me, bringing me out of that, I'm going to do that. So I retrained in hypnosis, and that's, where I am today. But during that training, so here's the spiritual part of it that I just love, and I really think has, influenced where I am now, absolutely, in many respects. So as I was training, we were doing some self-hypnosis training. Um, and self-hypnosis is where you kind of go inwards. There's a certain few words that you say to yourself, and it's kind of like the words move things through you and up and out.
Is it
It's a
similar to
lovely.
meditation or not?
Um, it's a little different in the sense that there's more of like a mantra, like an affirmation, and you're saying to yourself, and any like thoughts, images, words, feelings that come up through that, you speak to it. You say the mantra, you say the affirmation again to it. And so
Wow.
it moves it through your system. Now, for me specifically, I am somebody who I find myself in imagination land a lot. Like, I think in images. Oftentimes, I have a hard time portraying what I want to say because I have to take the images out of my mind and interpret them into words. So here I am training to be a hypnotist, sitting there in my self hypnosis state, and I find myself almost like I'm having an out of body experience, a very vivid type dream, I want to say, you know. And I found myself in this valley, basically, this meadow valley with mountains all up the side around, right? Lots of beautiful flowers. Um, and I was never raised religious in any sense of the word, but for some reason, Jesus was there. Okay. And uh yeah, so Jesus was there and I'm going, what in the world? Like what is going on here?
I think
And
that was shocking to you because you didn't
it
have
was.
that background. Like for me, it
Yeah.
would be like so comforting. But I
Yeah.
mean, was it comforting to you
It
or
was
was it,
absolutely comforting.
oh,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And um yeah, I didn't know what to make of it at first. But I just went along with it and thought, I always was really connected to angels in my mind, really spiritual in that sense. And I guess, the element, the energy signature of Jesus just made sense for that moment, what I needed in life. So I was there in the meadow with Jesus. And suddenly on, you know, I won't do left and rights here, but like on my side, there was all these people like that I didn't know. Um, and there was tons of them, like tons and tons and tons. And I didn't know what was going on there either. But suddenly in my mind, it's like it all happened in one moment, but it was all separate. I don't know how to describe that. I hear it a lot in NDE explanations, but it's like I had karma playing out with all these people all at
wow.
once.
So you had a connection
I
with
had a
all of those
connection with
people.
every single one of them.
Whoa.
And sometimes that karma was not so nice, right? And so I found myself being kind of like, holy crap, and coming out of it very quickly and back in my chair, back in the room that we're training in. And I'm going, okay, there's what in the world was that? But there was this part of me that was like, you have to go back. You have to go back and go through this.
Wow. So
So
you
at
had that
that,
option.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like when I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but it's kind of like when you're at sleep at night and you're having a dream and then you kind of wake up and then you kind of fall asleep again and you go back into the same dream. It was a little bit like that, but it was like this daydream,
It's
out of body
amazing.
experience, right? So when the one thing that I did notice that was really interesting to me is when I came back to the room in between, right? I felt these like two angelic type beings like at behind me, at like almost like with their hands on my shoulders. Um, I don't know if it was security or like everything's okay kind of thing.
Is that what it felt like? It felt
It
like
did. It felt like
calming.
calming, like almost like almost like if you're walking down the street as a as and you have two bodyguards, right? Like
Yeah.
they're just like with you. And so I said to myself, okay, I'm going to go back. I've still got time. The teacher hasn't brought us out yet. So I just sort of floated back in my mind, wherever that was. And I went back there. Now, all these people, they were there again, and Jesus was there, but it was in a different kind of setup now. So all these people were not in a crowd, but they were lined up, like shoulder to shoulder, right? And Jesus was on my right, and Jesus would hand me this beautiful blue crystal stone thing, and I would take it, and I would literally take it, and I would turn to the person in the lineup, and I would place it in their heart center. And it just kept going like that. And I'd receive from Jesus and place it in their heart, place it in their heart. So I kept doing this, and I gently came out of it, back to the room. And then, it was just in time, really. It's as if it was meant to happen in that amount of time, because my teacher just slowly brought us out of self-hypnosis, and, we went on learning. Now, of course, this sat with me for a time.
Did it take you a while to tell somebody else about it?
Absolutely. It took me, I mean, I came home after training and told my boyfriend about it. Um, but the one thing that happened afterwards, the most amazing thing out of all this, um, is that I suddenly had this deep communication. So literally on the way home from training, it was about a 45-minute drive home in a snowstorm. Oh my gosh. What are these snowstorms and ice storms here? Right? Oh my gosh,
Seriously.
they catch us up. And, oh man. So anyway, it was a snowstorm. It doesn't really matter to the story, but um I was having this like back and forth in my head with Jesus or God or something, right? And I was being told, you know, you should think about eating properly. You should think about letting go of chocolate, sweets. Chocolate was a big thing for me. Wine, right? Being better with alcohol in a sense. Um, and at first I was like, well, like maybe one glass a week.
Like you were like
And
negotiating
negotiating with Jesus,
with Jesus.
whatever,
Negotiations with Jesus. I love it.
right? Um, but it it was like there was no question. So there was negotiation at first, and then there was just no question. And
Mm.
the no question came from the thought or the message, I guess, that um those types of food can kind of cut off your communication. It kind of like it it lowers your vibration in a sense, right? So, we want you to be communicating. So let's try to stay away from those foods right now. Um, Now this feeling that I had from that moment forward for quite a bit of time, I'll get into that in a moment, was what's the word, like tangible. It was palpable.
Mm.
If I could bottle it, I would love to have bottled that feeling and given it to others, right? Because it was so incredible. It felt like you were kind of like a beam of light that was just completely connected. You knew you were infinite. It wasn't reading it in a book. It
Mm.
wasn't going, oh yeah, I wonder if that's the truth. It was living it, and it was incredible. And when I do tell this story, I've only told it a couple times, but um the biggest takeaway is just the message to others that it is for real. Like, you can get there, you can experience it. If I could, I think the experience is different for everybody. I wish there was a magic, like, you do this and this and this, and then
Formula.
formula, right? But I don't think there is. I think it's very different for every soul, on their path. But yeah, I was completely connected. I became really healthy. And it was incredible. And another big thing that happened was I used to suffer big time with jealousy, in relationships. I used to suffer with a lot of fears and anxieties. And that just left me. It was just gone, like
It
gone,
just
gone.
fell away.
It just fell away because I knew who I was as a soul. It was no wondering, like, oh, I wonder, you just knew. You just knew. And I wish I could describe it even deeper than that. Um, but you just knew. It wasn't like a thought in your mind. You felt it. And those kind of fell away. Now, over time, about a month, the feeling, the feeling, like the connection feeling, started to wane, right? Like, it started to fade a little bit here and there. And I became like grasping, right? No, come
Like
back, come back, come back.
obsessed. Like,
Right?
no.
Yeah, how do I get that back? I can't believe it left me. Like, I seriously thought, I remember saying, now that I know this, I don't know how I could ever feel any different, right? But and that's okay. I've learned that it's okay, because life is about that. Life is finding these high vibrations, coming back down a little bit, lifting others with you on your way back up, like teaching, experiencing. It's part of life, and it's okay to not be in that, like, oh, like that, that angelic high vibration all the time. Um, so that was okay. But the wonderful thing about it, is that feeling left, but the like what happened with releasing
Mm,
anxieties, jealousy, stuff like that, that has left, right? That's still gone. So that's really nice,
mm.
right?
So you have
And
those constant residual effects
right.
of the encounter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I've had hints, over the years of reconnecting and all that. But I think the biggest thing with it is that it really made a huge impact on how I work with people,
Mm,
right? In my hypnosis practice. So if someone's, into the spiritual type of hypnosis, I'm there. If someone's into the more body type hypnosis, right? Just focusing on the mind and body, I'm there. Um, and yeah, it's just amazing how it influenced.
you as a practitioner.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, and this idea that as a hypnotist, you really take on this mentality, this non-judgment mind, right? The person struggling on the street is the same as your neighbor, is the same as, someone in higher up in, like, the hierarchy of whatever society
Yeah.
that society portrays. We're all the same. We're all coming from the same light. We're just looking out different eyes in different bodies, right?
Mm,
And that's kind of that has stayed with me. And so this idea of non-judgment, this release, really plays into my life and plays into my practice. So I take people through finding that in their life, right? Releasing stuck emotions, connecting to their higher selves. Even though, we are already our higher selves, but finding bringing more of that in, right?
Yeah,
Bringing more of that in. Um, and so yeah, just it just really made a huge impact on how I go about my hypnosis practice and how I help others.
that's
Um,
incredible.
yeah, yeah,
So, and now I'm assuming that you are able to, have people that come into your office in the physical brick and mortar, but you also have the ability to, uh, remote, do
yeah.
remote sessions. Like you can meet with somebody on Zoom and still have the same effect.
Amazing effect, yeah. My clients are pretty much half in office and half over Zoom all over the world. I work with most of my clients are in the US, but I work with people in Britain. I recently worked with somebody in Turkey, like all over the world, all over the world. And it's lovely because at first, of course, I was nervous of doing online stuff. But I've seen the same benefits. I've seen the same transformations. Um, yeah, it's just amazing. And I love being able to reach the world in that respect, right? And oh yeah, and that brings me back to the experience, the spiritual experience that I had is I when was it? This past summer. Um, I had the realization that those that were that I was going through and
Giving
giving
the
that story
blue.
to, yeah, I had the realization that those were my clients,
Wow.
right? And so and so whenever I've been moved to work more with those people, whoever they are, right? I go in my mind, go kind of there again. And this is gonna sound crazy, but I say, I see the crowd and I say, okay, who's ready to work? Who's
Wow.
in need? And I see, so sometimes I see hands go up. The last time I did it, I saw like a ton of people uh, floating like straight up into the ethers, like they're ready to go. Um, Literally after I had that, seeing them floating, 2 days later, I went viral on TikTok
Oh my gosh.
and I had like 200 people reaching out to me. It
My
was insane.
gosh.
It was crazy. Um, so yeah, it's nuts. Um, yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was like manifestation on steroids.
That's amazing. And you're sitting there going, okay, what did I do? Like, but I
Yeah,
think that we don't do anything,
no.
And I'm so relieved whenever I realize that it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Yeah,
about anything that I did right. And so I can't reproduce that. I
yeah,
just have to stay connected.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And if anyone's wondering, like, how do I start that connection? What I found over the years to get back into that connection is kind of waking up and going, okay, I'm going to give my day over to the universe, right? And I'm going to ask. I'm going to spend my day asking, should I do this? Yes, no. Should I eat this? Yes, no. Asking yes or no questions is a wonderful way to start that conversation, right? Because it's easy for your mind to just give you that answer. Um, and yeah, it's just been amazing. Just been amazing.
Yeah. And I think also what I love about yes, no is that at first you might misread some of them, but you're
Yeah,
getting there.
you're getting there.
You're getting there. Like just the fact that you're asking
Yeah,
is huge. And then God or the universe or your angels or your guides will literally like use that willingness to shape you into where you need to go and what you need to do, what you need to eat, who
Yeah,
you need to talk
exactly.
to. Like,
Yeah,
should I email so and so, or should I open this email, or should I call this person? Um,
exactly.
and it feels really awkward at first. Um, but what I have found is that now
Yeah.
it's almost like learning a new language. Now I'm more fluent
Yes.
in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. And your mind is more open to receiving, right? And you let go of the judgment, you know, the judgment on yourself,
God,
right? So much of
yes.
that going on that gets in the way.
That's
Yeah.
so freeing because it's all lies. All the judgment is all lies. I mean,
Just,
it's so funny because when clients come to me, they're just telling me all of these lies that they're telling themselves, and I'm like, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
yeah.
That's not true. No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And I can see it, but the work is to get them to the place where they can see it.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
you meet with people.
Yeah.
I'm assuming anybody who hears this is not physically where you're at. Where are you at physically?
I'm in Canada. I'm in
Okay.
Ontario in the Kawartha Lakes. Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody is listening to this who's there, you can reach out to her and
Yeah.
go physically to her office. But if somebody is remote, if they're in another country,
Mhm.
um, uh, how does it work? Just do they just reach out to you? Do you have like an initial session? Like how does that play out?
Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely. So I have what I think will be tagged in below description
Yes.
is a Calendly link. I think you use Calendly too. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful little tool. But yeah, so Calendly, the link will take you to my Zoom consultation. The consultation is about 45 minutes. It's free. It's get to know each other. Um,
45 minutes for free. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's because there's a lot of discussion about your goals, right?
Mm,
What do you want your life to look like in 6 weeks? What do you want your life to look like in 3 months? Right? And that's very important to understand where people want to go. If it was 15 minutes or half an hour, I'm not sure I would get a very well-rounded,
yeah.
you know,
You'd be like, hi, my
look at.
name's Emily. Hi, my name's,
Yeah, yeah.
Hillary.
Yeah,
Bye.
I'm feeling, I got stuck emotions. Okay, see you later. But no, I want to know about what you're going through. And that helps me go, okay, well, I see that you're struggling, say, with, something simple like I do a lot of work with people who want to change their body, like their weight or their exercise routine, stuff like that. If someone's just struggling and I see it from the interview or the consult that they're just struggling with, say, chocolate bars or something, right? You know, uh, problematic foods that are getting in the way of their life. And there's not a lot of emotional stuff going on. Well, then that can be done in 3 sessions, right? We can look
Mm.
at that. And if any emotional stuff comes up, then we deal with it. We move through it. Um, but if somebody is struggling with a lot of stuck emotions like angers and shames and guilts and all the like, um, then that might look like 6 or 9 sessions. Some people sign up for the 12 sessions. I mean, it's not always necessary, but some people just really want to get rid of everything and start anew. Um, so yeah, that would
Well,
be an outline of the
and
sessions.
like for me, like remembering what it felt like to be stuck,
Yeah.
that's priceless. Like that's absolutely priceless to have somebody and like you said, not only do you get to that point where you are releasing these things like judgment and the lies, but then it you're not the same. I think about it like a one-way valve
Hmm.
where you got the valve where you go this way and you go this way and you go this way and you go
Yeah.
this way. But you get to the point where you don't go back.
Yes.
You're not going to go back to where you
Yeah.
were before
That's right.
this. So that is priceless. So
Yeah.
how do you price this? I mean, what do you what are your prices or your packages? Because I
Yeah.
think it's really important for people to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my current prices for 1.5 hour sessions, 3 sessions is 690, including tax,
That's
$690
great for
US.
3 1.5 hour sessions.
Yeah, and we get a lot
Wow.
done, right? 1.5 hours is a long time to do stuff in hypnosis. It may not, well, I don't know. It goes by it goes by quick, because you're in hypnosis, so there's kind of this time warp a little bit, but there's so much time to get stuff done. So yeah, 690 for 3 sessions, and these are current prices. Um,
Yeah, as of March 9th of 2023.
yeah, exactly. 6 sessions is 1320, including tax. 9 sessions is 1890, and 12 sessions is 2400.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Because I mean, think about that. If you are sitting there and I picture somebody who's like on a hamster wheel and
Yeah.
like they keep doing the same thing. They keep having the same life. They keep having the same relationships, the same
Patterns and all that. Yeah.
lies, like
Yeah.
lies, lies, lies. And then you can like break them free for $2,400. Like
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a bargain. Like you get your
Yeah.
whole life. And then who knows how much more money you'll make if
Yeah.
you are really your true self and you're able to
Yeah.
go and fulfill your passion and your purpose in life.
Yeah. 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 And I work with a lot of people who, have feel stuck. Uh, I have a lot of clients who have, say they're in their even 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like they have spent their whole life dedicating their life to other people, right? Losing who they are, and we work to get you back, right?
Mm,
Like you back to who you want to be. That doesn't mean that you just shut down to the rest of the world and say,
no.
yeah, I'm done with you. But nurses, so many nurses I work with,
Wow.
who went through the pandemic and are now trying to get their lives back, um, emotions wise too, right, from the pandemic. Um, and yeah, just so many different people wanting to feel like they can move forward past especially limiting beliefs, right?
Mm,
I'm not enough. I don't deserve that. There's never enough. I don't deserve to make that kind of money. Um, yeah, there's just tons of limiting beliefs that hold us back too. Yeah.
absolutely. And it's talk about a pandemic. It's a plague. It
Yeah.
is it is in everyone. I mean, it baffles me
Yeah.
the normal conversation, the normal things that come out of people's mouths. And I'm like,
Right.
you got some mess there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that used to be me. I mean, that used to like I would poke fun at myself and joke about, uh, a lot of like self-deprecating, comments and
Yeah.
everything. And I didn't realize that it was these lies that I was believing. And that we can we cannot believe them. We can not
Yeah.
have them. I didn't realize it was a choice. I
Yeah.
had no clue it was a choice.
Yeah.
I thought that was just my life.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And it's getting that choice back. That's been a big thing actually this week with my clients is it's funny how every week there seems to be a theme. But this week has been understanding that you have choice, right? You have choice in life, and you can choose to reinvent yourself, right? And
mm,
when you've released those limiting beliefs, you've resolved a lot of past stuff, it's so much easier to reinvent yourself, right? To be who you want to be. Yeah.
yeah. And I really like your story so much because you're not saying, I am Hillary and I am almighty and I am giving you this blue, stone.
Yeah.
You were saying, I'm just the vessel.
Yeah.
I'm literally the vehicle. I'm getting this blue stone and I'm transferring it to you.
Yeah.
Um, and oh my gosh, like that's just it's such a gift to be able to be used, to be able to help and heal people
Yeah.
in a lasting way.
Yes. Yeah. It really is beautiful, and it's what gets me out of bed in the morning, right? Like it's what drives me to do the work that I do. Is just seeing how fast people, resolve and move forward. Um, and uh, and yeah, when I hear them say, thank you, I got my life back, it's
Oh,
always, yeah, it just hits somewhere in me where I just go, okay, this is what I'm meant to be doing, right?
yeah, it's so powerful to realize that you were used to
Hmm.
change the trajectory of somebody's life.
Yeah, yeah, it is, yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And it's also, when I think back to the pit of despair whenever I was
Mm,
in that, I would have done anything. I would
yeah,
have sold my car. I would have gotten a credit card. I would have, gone to my rich relatives and been like, okay, listen, I will never ask you for anything again in my life. I
yeah,
will make payments of $100 a month forever. Please just give me this money. I need to go. And I think the scary thing is that people think that the results are reliant on them, that they're
yeah,
going to fail, that
yeah,
they're going to take
hmm,
this information and that they're going to screw it up.
yeah,
But what I love about working with a practitioner
yeah,
is that you are investing in them and saying,
absolutely, yeah,
hey, can you hold my hand through this?
yeah,
And you will, like, you will not let
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, and yeah, and there's people come to me and um exactly what you're saying. They want that help to move across the bridge. And it is kind of like I'm there to hold their hand across the bridge, but also knowing that, what I tell my clients is I'm a guide, right?
Mm,
Guiding you across that bridge, but you're doing all the work,
yes.
right? All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And I have the techniques. I have uh, sometimes some really amazing connection that, I kind of bring forward, down and forward to help you go where you might need to go. There's guides involved sometimes, on a spiritual level. Yeah, and whoever I meet, there's always a reason, right? There's always a reason, and I really believe in that. Um, so the person, what I say to them is, you should be proud, right? You should be proud because you took that chance. Yes, I was holding your hand and I helped you through the mud and through across the bridge. But you did all this wonderful work for yourself, and you should be proud about that. So I think that's important to note as well, that you're doing the work. I wish I had a magic wand and could just, poof, you're done. But you're doing all this amazing work for yourself, and and you should be proud of it. Yeah.
Mm, that's so
Mm.
beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love it. Well, Hilary, thank you so much for spending this
Mhm.
time with me, and for sharing with, my listeners, this amazing gift that you have, that, really evolved,
Mhm.
and really called you,
Yeah.
um, to be in this journey. So, how can people reach you? I'm going to put your Calendly in
Yeah.
the
Description.
show notes, yeah, the
Yeah.
description. But are you on like social media or?
Yeah, so I'll send you all the links, but I am on social media, so I'm on TikTok now
There you
since
go. You're viral
January.
on TikTok.
Oh my gosh. I am on Instagram. I have a Facebook page, but the easiest, fastest way of getting a hold of me is through my email, and that'll be listed below as well. It's info@somhypnosis.com. Som meaning state of mind, because it really is there's nothing more important than your state of mind. And yeah, no, that's just what it is, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much, Hilary. And I can't wait to hear how you continue to grow because I
absolutely.
just I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg, and
Yeah.
you're going to continue to change lives.
I think so too. Yeah. And I just love it. I love that I've come to this point in my life after, and it was okay that I went in that different direction for many years. And now it's my trajectory has changed, and it's really soul enriching. Yeah.
Mm, mm. That's everything. Awesome. Well, thank you, Hilary.
Thank you, Emily.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.